Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another FIFA 21 video where today we're going to be checking out one of the most popular formations that seems to have become very popular in recent time, especially over the last week or two. A formation that I've personally never been super keen on, but I did give it a good go this week in Rivals. I came across this formation a lot over the weekend league during Rivals this week. It seems to be a very popular formation, so I thought give it a go myself, see what I think of it, and then give you guys my opinion on what tactics and instructions I used. If you guys feel free to use this formation going forward. Also, if you want to let me know in the comment section, would you like us to add gameplay back into our tactic videos? Do let us know in the comment section. Your feedback is always massively welcome. So in terms of this formation, it is very similar to a formation that I like to use, which is the 4-2-2. It's got the same back four, the 2 DMs, 2 strikers. The only difference is we've got left and right mids instead of left and right cams. I don't know why I really didn't like this formation the last time I used it. Now in terms of tactics, balance is where we settled on with the defensive style. I didn't like to go on a press. Kind of at the moment not really feeling the press. I'm just having a lot of success playing the way I'm playing, so without playing on a press. So for me, I'm not a huge fan of playing on a press. I don't think it's a great one as well, because I think because we have DMs and like a normal flat four in midfield, like 4-4-2, it doesn't quite feel as good in press. It does feel like your opponent has it's a little bit of an easier time playing out from a press, so it doesn't work as well. In terms of defensive width, again, I keep that pretty much the same on around about 5. I don't like to tweak with that too much. The depth for me, I push that all the way up to around about 7 or 8. On this formation, I think you can go a little bit higher with your depth because you have the DMs that are there. So it is kind of naturally set up to be a little bit more defensive. So I think you can afford to push a little bit higher up the pitch in that regard. In terms of offensive style, I settled on long ball. I've been using a lot of fast build-up recently. I think in this formation, because you don't want the 2 defensive midfielders to push forwards, you don't really want to be using fast build-up. You kind of want, when you use fast build-up, and if you have the DMs, for example, set to stay back while attacking, playing on fast build-up, they'll ignore that instruction and they'll move forwards anyway. So because you want your DMs, you want your fullbacks to kind of stay in position and not really venture too far forwards, long ball is the way to go. So it only allows the 2 strikers and the 2 wide midfielders to run forwards and make the runs beyond in behind. Otherwise, like I said, if you're playing on fast build up, your guys will move on their own accord. So we don't want them to do that. In terms of offensive width, this is really key. I play all the way on 10 width, and this was really important because those left and right midfielders, it's really tricky because of the way this game kind of works. It's really tricky to actually get them involved in the play. There are certain things you can do with your instructions, your tactics, and the personnel that you have there, but it is generally quite difficult to get those wide players involved. Because, for example, if you go super narrow on like 1 width or something, those players are going to be a lot narrower, but it's going to be a lot easier for your opponent to counter you, because you can see how narrow your formation becomes. So your wings are just going to be super open. Now for me, because of that fact, I like to keep the wingers wide. I think, you know what, if I can't get them inside, I may as well stretch the pitch as wide as possible, which is then going to force my opponent's team to open up. It's going to force gaps because their defense, if it's tightly packed, is going to have to open up to get out to press the guy on the ball. Otherwise, I'm just going to have the ball all day long. So they're going to have to pull players out of position to try and get the ball off me. And that's when you should be able to play around them relatively easily. Now you've created the space. So the wide guys are just there more as the decoy. And like I said, your strikers are mainly going to be the guys that are going to be scoring a lot of your goals. Your wide guys are just there to create opportunities for the rest of your team. And then the rest of it, you know, I play on 6 players in the box, just a personal preference, just kind of a number that I seem to have settled on and seems to be working really well for me. And then free kicks, play all the way down to 1 again, pretty much the standard stuff for our formations. In terms of the instructions, your attackers are super important. So I've got my 2 best finishers up top, play with Ronaldo on stay central and get him behind. Come back on defense on him and Cruyff. The main reason we use those guys on comeback on defense was because, as we mentioned many times before, but if you haven't heard it before, a good way and something that happens quite a lot is your strikers get stuck on the opponent's centre backs. When you try and play a ball into your striker and he tackles you immediately, it's because your strikers are, you know, set on normal. They're set on balance. They're set to not come back. Now, come back on defense isn't we want them to come back on defense when we're defending. It's just to get them off those centre backs, so now they're no longer sort of glued to the centre back. So now you're able to play the ball into your striker without the possibility of being tackled immediately and then potentially countered, because a lot of referees in this game as well, even though you can get fouled from behind, the refs just don't like to call it for some reason. So comeback on defense is used in that regard. not necessarily to drop, because of the depth we play, because we play on high depth. Playing them on comeback on defense doesn't really make any difference because our depth is so high. They don't really, we're not really set up for defending anyway, so it doesn't really make too much difference. In terms of the two DMs, Vidal and Kimmich, I've had these guys mainly on stay back while attacking, cut passing lanes, cover center, kind of the typical what you'd expect for the DMs. In my 4-2-2 formation, I actually like to play with these two guys on balanced attack because I like to kind of push them a little bit further forwards and get them a little bit more involved, kind of, so it's a little bit easier, because sometimes it can be quite difficult to connect the midfield to the strikers, and especially with the left and right midfielders being so far out of the pitch, you may find that those guys struggle to kind of get involved, and you may find that link up play is quite difficult. If you do, then you can do exactly this. You can just move the two midfielders up to balanced. If you find that you for whatever reason you find it very, very easy to link up, then you can always knock these guys back to stay back while attacking and be a little bit more solid defensively. So it's kind of up to you. For me, I found that stay back while attacking worked really well in this formation. I actually found that the wide midfielders did get involved in the play, maybe not with sort of scoring too many goals, but they did a great job in creating opportunities for the two strikers. So I felt this worked really, really well. And then the fullbacks, again, it's kind of up to you what you prefer. For me, I kept them on stay back while attacking, conservative interceptions and overlap because we've already got left and right mids, and they're going to kind of stay really, really wide. So if you want to, you could actually play them on inverted, so they make the runs on the inside because the left and right mids are already already kind of stuck out on the wing. It depends. I mean, it depends what you like. If you want to play mixed attack, you can play mixed attack because then they're going to make a little bit of both. I think it doesn't really matter too much in terms of the run type. I think the main thing here is that we have them on stay back while attacking. That's really the most important thing. And I think because we have left and right midfielders, if we didn't have, like, for example, when I play in the 4-2-2, I have my fullbacks on balance because we don't have much width in that formation because we have natural cams and we play them on free roam. Whereas in this formation, we actually have left and right mids. We have natural width in this formation, so you don't need the fullbacks to go forwards. And again, if you was playing on fast build-up and you had these guys on balanced, for example, if you had these guys on stay back while attacking, and you had the two midfielders that were on stay back while attacking, but you were playing on fast build-up, they would ignore that stay back while attacking instruction, and they would find that they would find their way forwards because the tactic side of things overrides the instructions. So this is how I set up with the 4-2-2, the 4-4-2 defend, and it wasn't really one of my favorite formations. It was a good formation. I still had really good success with it. I played about 30 games with it, across the weekend league and going into rivals this week, and I played well with it. I still won a lot of games with it, but it wasn't a fun formation for me personally. I didn't really enjoy it. There's definitely other formations that I definitely enjoy playing a lot more. So if you want to try this formation out, you can try these tactics out and let me know in the comment section if this formation worked well for you. Just for me personally, wasn't one of my favorites, but it still was very, very successful for me. And at the end of the day, FIFA's all about winning. If you're one of those people who just wants to win games, this could work very, very well for you. For me, I didn't enjoy it. I want to have fun when I'm playing FIFA, and I didn't have a mass amount of fun. I have more fun in other formations, so it didn't really work too well for me. Make sure you do subscribe as well if you are new to the channel. Make sure you join the Discord down below if you do want to get better at FIFA and get notified when we do stream in the next week or so. But that's all for today, guys. Have an awesome day. I'm out.